Welcome back to the Arise interview. I'm Charles Onyegolu. Now to that flurry of diplomacy over Ethiopia. Both the African Union and the US say that diplomatically there is a small window of opportunity to try to end the fighting there. The UN is warning that the risk of the country spiraling into a widening civil war is only too real. For the past 48 hours, there's been a diplomatic flurry of activity. The African Union envoy, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, has traveled to Ethiopia and has been briefing the Security Council about his talks.
All these leaders here in Addis Ababa and in the north agree individually that the difference between them are political and require political solution through dialogue. This, therefore, constitutes a window of opportunity that we can collectively tap into to assist the people of Ethiopia to find lasting solution to the ongoing crisis. It is, however, important to mention the window of opportunity we have is very little and that the time is short for any intervention in this regard.
The African Union envoy at the Horn of Africa there, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, briefing the United Nations Security Council. Well, for more on Ethiopia, I'm joined now on the line by the African Affairs analyst and publisher of Africa Briefing, John Offei Ansah. Good to see you, John. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. What, in your assessment, is happening diplomatically to end the war in Ethiopia?
Well, there's a flurry of heightened diplomatic activity to stave off, any escalation of the conflict between the Ethiopian government and the Tigray forces. Right now the Tigrayan forces are about 350 miles north of the capital, Addis Ababa, right? And the fear, and should they be able to overrun, to the capital, it's going to cause a whole lot of mess. We shouldn't forget the AU is headquartered there. There are a lot of the UN Economic Commission, is based there, and other international bodies are all based in Addis Ababa. So that is one aspect, and the other aspect is the humanitarian, implications. Now, so I mean, the UN, the AU, and other bodies are trying to pull all the stops to avert, a full-blown civil war between the two sides.
And what about the two sides themselves? Because up until now, both sides have said rather firmly that they'll talk to the opposing side once they've defeated them. So an all or nothing kind of situation. Is there any evidence at all that there is a measure of reaching out between the two sides or not?
Yeah, you see, they say they will talk when they have the upper hand. Yes, when you've defeated, you are the victor, you hold all the aces, on the table. So, but I'm sure that the UN, the AU, and the others will make sure that it doesn't get to that stage. And again, look, the Ethiopian forces were able to overrun Tigray last year, right? And rather unexpectedly, the tables were turned on the federal government. I mean, the government in Addis Ababa, okay? And even to the extent that Abiy, the Prime Minister Abiy, called on all Ethiopians who have arms, right, to muster up their arms, and join the fight against the Tigray forces. To me, it was an act of trepidation, to put it mildly, an act of fear. Okay, right now, they've even cobbled together some militia forces from the Afar and the Amhara regions to assist, the federal troops. So it appears the federal government headed by Abiy, it's in a bit of trepidation, a bit of fear. So I believe they will be prepared to go to a negotiating table and dialogue with the Tigray forces. After all, both sides say that I agree that the problem is political. So if the problem is political, yes, then they can go to the negotiating table and negotiate, iron out any problem, those political problems that exist between them.
That's a very interesting point you raise there. In effect, the Ethiopian government, after remaining belligerent for a long time, seems to now be warming up to the possibility of a mediated settlement. And this is coming after a couple of weeks of military setbacks that led to the loss, from what I understand, of 2 key strategic cities, losses that have brought the rebel factions, as you said, closer to the capital Addis Ababa than ever before. So you think this played a key role in getting the Ethiopian government to give talks a chance?
Yes, absolutely. Because look, if you have the upper hand, you don't agree to dialogue. Okay, and now it appears their weakness, the federal forces' weakness, has been exposed somewhat. Okay, and we shouldn't forget that the TPLF forces are very, very war hardened. These are people who will fight to the hilt. Okay, so I think Abiy, who is rather very, very proven to be quite intransigent, right, is showing some chinks in his armor by, agreeing, to a negotiated settlement.
And obviously you're referring to Abiy Ahmed, who's the Ethiopian Prime Minister.
Yes.
So through the African Union's envoy, former Nigerian President Olusegun Obasanjo, we're seeing the first official third-party representative making visits to both the Ethiopian government and the leadership of the Tigray regional state. So can we say that this is the first opening of communication channels between the two sides that could possibly lead to an end to this conflict?
I strongly believe so. Because look, for the Abiy's forces, the federal forces, to be able to overrun Tigray last year, they had the help of the Eritrean forces. Okay, and now that the Eritrean forces are seemingly out of the way, right? They are a bit exposed, like I said. So Abiy, if he has any sense, right, would agree to a negotiated settlement. After all, you don't want to lose faith. Though it has the backing. When the matter went to the Security Council at the UN yesterday, Russia, was supporting the Abiy government, saying that an elected government should not negotiate with, any opposing force. And again, the Abiy government tagging the Tigray as a terrorist, TPLF as a terrorist organization, also doesn't help. So these are some of the naughty points that need to be sorted out. For that tag of a terrorist organization to be removed, right? And also for Abiy to realize that, his forces are not as strong as maybe he originally thought, okay? And that the Tigrayans are in a position to overrun Addis Ababa anytime. So I believe that these factors will make Abiy, agree to go to a negotiating table and talk with the TPLF.
Okay, John, thanks very much indeed, as always. John Offei Ansah is the African Affairs Analyst and publisher of Africa Briefing, and he was talking to me there about the latest on the attempts to mediate in the Ethiopian crisis.